One of the major problems established in the first 3 acts of Twelfth Night is that everybody is misguided because appearances do not match reality. In part, this is because of a series of doubles and substitutions that appear throughout the play. The twins at the center of this play are the most obvious example of this doubling and substitution. Viola becomes the doppelganger of her twin brother by becoming Cesario, and then in Act 4, her brother will act as a substitute for Cesario in a duel with Sir Andrew. Sebastian will also replace Viola as the object of Olivia's love. But these twins are not the only case of doubling and substitution in the play. Viola, for example, tells us in Act 1 that she intends to be Orsino's singer, but somehow Feste ends up playing that role. He's not even employed in that house. Additionally, Feste is supposed to be a spectator during the gulling of Malvolio, but he doesn't show up. Instead, the play subs in Fabian. Also, Orsino will sub in Cesario as his double to court Olivia on his behalf. And in a different kind of way, Sir Toby uses Sir Andrew to court Olivia on his behalf. It's different, but you get what I'm saying. This list could keep on going seemingly forever, and we've only talked about the characters that are doubled in this play. Circumstances and situations are also doubled. So, as thoughtful readers or viewers of this play, we have to ask ourselves, what's going on with all this doubling and substitution? I personally can't say that I have a definitive answer to that question, but I do know that in Act 4 we see the troubling consequences of a world where nothing is as it appears, and that will be the topic of today's investigation of Act 4. And if close reading Shakespeare sounds like it's your sort of thing, please consider subscribing and checking out my other playlists. Let's get into Act 4. In the first scene of Act 4, Sebastian is mistaken for Cesario by 3 different people in only 50 lines. First is Feste, who is sent to find Cesario and find Sebastian instead. Thinking that Sebastian is Cesario, he's discouraged that Sebastian pretends not to know him. He says sarcastically, "I am not sent to you by my lady to bid you come speak with her, nor your name is not Master Cesario, nor this is not my nose neither. Nothing that is so is so." Because Sebastian appears to Feste as Cesario, it appears that nothing that is so is so. Regardless, Feste gets a coin for being funny during this confusion. And shortly after that, Sir Andrew also mistakes Sebastian for Cesario with more severe consequences. Andrew gets beat up. He doesn't get a coin. Then a third character, Olivia, enters the stage and makes the same mistake. She confuses Sebastian for Cesario. This time, the consequence appears to be an engagement. So the same mistake is made 3 different times with 3 different consequences. Feste's misunderstanding ends with him getting a payment and rushing off to Olivia. Sir Andrew's misunderstanding ends with a beating. Olivia's misunderstanding ends with a betrothal. Feste and Olivia get comic endings, and Sir Andrew gets a tragic ending. He leaves the stage bloodied. And what a strange scene that is. You've got to love Sebastian just going with the flow. When an attractive rich lady says, "Would thou'st be ruled by me?" the answer must be returned, "Madam, I will." Just an incredible move, Sebastian. Incredible. And a thematically appropriate move. Nearly everybody else in this play tries to understand what's going on, interpret cause and effect, find the best fit interpretation of the parts of Illyria that don't coherently fit together. Characters like Malvolio rush to judgment and interpretation and believe they understand exactly what is happening. Sebastian doesn't pretend to understand anything. He just sits in the beauty and wonder of the world. He doesn't look to control the world with interpretations. No thought, just flow. And maybe that's the best way to live in Illyria? But on to the second scene of Act 4. It is, in at least one way, a double of the first scene. Feste tells a character that nothing that is so, but it's much darker the second time. Like, darker vibes, but also it's literally in a dark room. In this scene, Feste is dressed as a parson named Sir Topaz, and will try to convince Malvolio that he has gone insane. He is there to perform an exorcism, to remove the spirits that have made Malvolio descend into madness. I mean, we in the audience know that Malvolio is not insane. We know that Feste knows that. Sir Toby knows that. But that doesn't stop Feste from trying to create insanity in Malvolio. When Malvolio tells Feste as Sir Topaz that it is dark, Sir Topaz replies that it is not. He has a bay window. Nothing that is so is so. And in a world where appearances do not match reality, where the body that appears to be Cesario is actually Sebastian, where the young man Olivia has fallen in love with is actually a young woman, where the young man who serves Orsino is actually a young woman in love with Orsino, where a letter that appears to be written by Olivia is actually written by Maria. In that world, insisting that it is dark when it appears to be dark is a kind of madness. These are the discomforting consequences of a world where nothing that is so is so. You can make a claim based on what you see and be told that you're nuts. But Malvolio was indeed wrong with his interpretation of the letter. And so what? Everybody else in this play has been fooled in similar ways, but Malvolio serves as a sort of scapegoat for all of them. He is punished for his misinterpretation, while others are propelled towards a comedic ending. And this punishment is an attempt to destroy Malvolio's subjectivity altogether, to disconnect him from his ability to perceive anything. Appropriately, he is bound in a dark room, deprived of the ability to see appearances at all. Someone needs to pay for the pleasure that everybody else is having in this play, and it is Malvolio. But Malvolio doesn't break. He confidently trusts his own perceptions rather than the perceptions forced upon him by Sir Topaz. Ironically, his confidence, which saves his sanity in the scene, is remarkably similar to the confidence he had back in Act 2 when he misinterpreted the origin of the letter Maria left for him. He continues to believe that the way that the world appears to him is the way that the world is. The same behavior that condemned him in Act 2 saves him here in Act 4. Shakespeare is never simple. As part of Sir Topaz's attempt to dislodge Malvolio from his own subjectivity, he asks Malvolio about Pythagoras' view of the wildfowl, a view that holds that a soul can move from one body after death to another body, or, as Malvolio puts it, that the soul of our grandam might happily inhabit a bird, which feels thematically appropriate in a play about twins and mistaken identity. Can a single soul move between bodies? Can one thing appear in two different ways? Feste asks Malvolio's opinion of this view, and Malvolio responds exactly as a man with Malvolio's belief system would respond. I think nobly of the soul, and no way approve his opinion. He does not move from this position, even though moving from it might set him free. He boldly stays true to his own identity when asked a question about the transmigration of identity. Malvolio insists that some things are true, like the nobility of the human soul, regardless of how corruptible words or appearances might be. Feste is the one speaking gibberish, and his abuse of Malvolio increasingly feels mean, particularly to modern audiences. Indeed, even Sir Toby wants the abuse to stop. I would we were well rid of this knavery. If he may be conveniently delivered, I would he were. For I am now so far in offence with my niece that I cannot pursue with any safety this sport to the upshot. In other words, he no longer sees any benefit from these tricks. Throughout the exchange between Sir Topaz and Malvolio, it becomes evident that the real crime Malvolio gets punished for is his ambition to climb the social ladder. His madness is a belief in his own dignity within the hereditary system of nobility that places him in a subordinate role. Somehow, in a world that wants to frame that steadfast dignity as a form of madness, Malvolio is able to keep his wits. And in that way, the following scene, scene 3, is a sort of double of the darkroom scene. It's another example of a character fighting off madness. In scene 3, Sebastian struggles with understanding the boundaries of his own sanity as he continues to be misidentified. All the other characters conspire to try to make Malvolio believe that he has gone insane in this act, and they are unsuccessful. No one tries to make Sebastian question his sanity in this act, and yet, Sebastian considers the question of his own sanity. Unlike Malvolio, Sebastian is ready to distrust mine eyes and wrangle with my reason that persuades me to any other trust but that I am mad. And with good reason. In this act alone, he has been mocked by Feste, physically assaulted by Sir Andrew and Toby, and proposed to by Olivia. He's left thinking that either all of Illyria is mad or that he must be dreaming. The comparisons between Malvolio and Sebastian in this act are fascinating, and they've provoked endless discussion. Malvolio confidently seeks control through his faith in his own perceptions. Sebastian humbly questions everything, never believing that he has any understanding. Sebastian resists interpretation, suspends judgment, and is ultimately rewarded. But it's also not that simple. No one is trying to force an interpretation of the world onto Sebastian. With Malvolio, a group of people has conspired to present the world to him incoherently, so he uses his own subjectivity to interpret the truth and defend himself from those attacks. And will Malvolio be rewarded for his success? Only time will tell. O time, thou must untangle this. And that topic, the role of time, will be the subject of the next video when we go through Act 5, play by play. Thank you for watching.